The National Football League is estimated to be worth about $9 billion, but the league is under attack by former players. The threat once again coming to light after the high-profile suicide of retired linebacker Junior Seau earlier this month. Studies have linked depression and suicide to repeated head injuries like the ones that Seau suffered throughout his career. So far, some 2,000 former players have filed 80 lawsuits against the league. They say they now suffer severe health problems, including chronic headaches, difficulty sleeping, depression, memory loss, and dementia, all from the hard hits they suffered during their careers. They say the league knew about the long-term dangers of concussions and did nothing to protect them. Out front tonight, I spoke to Leroy Jordan, a former linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys and one of the former players suing the NFL, and Matthew Matheny, a lawyer representing former players against the NFL. I asked Leroy what his symptoms were and how he knew they were related to his days with the NFL.
Well, you know, for the last 2 years, I've been having memory problems of, you know, forgetting things and not knowing what I came in a room to do, and I have become very irritable with my family, my wife and my kids and friends, and that is really disturbing to me because that's not my personality. So I think we all have different degrees of this, and I am lucky compared to many of the players out there that are suffering much worse than I am.
What's your sense? I mean, look, we only all grow old once, so we don't really know how it's supposed to feel. How do you know this just isn't age?
Well, I don't know, but I'm asking is, are we going to do anything about the concussions of the past? Are we going to improve the potential concussions of the future for future NFL players? Are we going to try to help take care of those guys who are suffering now from concussions back when they played football in the 60s, 70s, and 80s? And, you know, are we going to just let them fall by the wayside?
I want to give you what the NFL has said about this. The NFL has issued a statement. The NFL has long made player safety a priority and continues to do so. Any allegation that the NFL intentionally sought to mislead players has no merit. It stands in contrast to the league's actions to better protect players and advance the science and medical understanding of the management and treatment of concussions. Matthew, when you go to court, that's the NFL is going to say what they've said. What are you going to say? You know, if Leroy and others can't entirely defend why they're experiencing what they're experiencing, how do you make the case in court?
Well, first and foremost, any individual plaintiff is not capable of linking the cause of their injury. That has to come from a medical professional. And fortunately, there are neurologists all over the country. There are several in Dallas that are doing intense study on retired football players' brain function. The doctors at Boston University Neuroscience Department have done a fantastic job of researching this issue, making the link in causation. They have the appropriate neuropsychological studies that can be done on these individuals to help make the link for causation. And when it's time and in a court of law, those medical professionals, treating neurologists from all over the country are prepared to come and testify that, in fact, these men have suffered a concussion, they've suffered subconcussions, they returned to play before their brains had healed, and that repeated traumatic event through the course of their playing career is what caused them to have a traumatic brain injury in their later life.
Leroy, let's talk about that, getting players back into the game before they should have. You've said that they took ankle injuries more seriously than they took head injuries when you were playing.
Well, they did. The doctors and trainers examined ankle injuries or knee strains, you know, much more than they did concussions or stingers or dinghies or whatever they called them back then. So, you know, it wasn't considered an injury as long as you could remember the plays and get back on the field and perform.
All right, Matthew Matheny, good to talk to you. Thank you very much. Matthew is the plaintiff's attorney who's filed lawsuit against the NFL on behalf of about 100 players, and Leroy Jordan is a former linebacker with the Dallas Cowboys. Thanks, gentlemen.